This is the last part of a 4-part series, so make sure you watch the prequels. Let me get that ad revenue pennies. Well, where to begin? No, literally, I have no fucking clue where to go. What was the hint? The motivation? Don't know how to get through the whirlpools yet, so no. None of those are accessible in this game. Yes, that's the one! It's so obvious! What, you didn't piece that together? Seems like broken logic, like the clues are fragmented. I'm funny. No worries, let's just combine the bits we This isn't funny anymore. So that very optional clue you get is trying, in the fewest words, to tell you to travel around the ocean, go through a series of dungeons, get the 3 pieces of Poseidon's trident, who is for sure a god or something, and use it to defeat him. Great, let's, just get sailing already. We left Kabombo, but the chip we got in Madra lets us backtrack there for a side quest to get a book, and it's not necessary, nor is locking this bad item behind another maze dungeon. It's just not. But that's not the only example of continental backtracking, because the player might remember entering a temple in the first town with what looks like a synergy rock, but is in fact a plot device stone to make an inexplicable elevator in the other cave to get a trident prong. That means it's 1/3 over, right? Okay, so the sea's dotted with little islands, and you might be thinking, hey, that sounds fun to explore, and it's not. Maybe the first time, right? But now it's like, where do I have to go to actually find what I'm supposed to be doing? Hint, not anywhere in this hemisphere. Because yeah, you can go to the quiet village with the special blacksmith called fucking Sunshine of all names and get him to make weapons and armor from materials you find, but this early they're all getting replaced by random dungeon treasure, so that's a waste for now. But it's fine, because south of the town there's a swamp based on a real swamp where volcanic activity happened, so it's a real world analog, and just why, Golden Sun? Why even attempt? Can you not be creative? I guess with all the illusions in the game, yeah, but this one's just bizarre. And the prize for going through this cave maze is a Jinn, and some material for Sunshine, and this continent gets a massive fucking X. The next few parts of the journey are pure classic Golden Sun content. Jinn collecting, dungeon delving, monster encountering. If you guys could just notch that down a bit. Treasure finding, Eastern Analog Town exploring content for the people who really enjoy playing Golden Sun. I am not one of those people. First up is Aqua Rock. There's a rock dungeon for every element in this game, and if Felix had a Fitbit, he'd be absolutely crushing it daily. These things are so long. First off, you'll be visiting this tiny island on the edge of the flat earth, and if my Golden Sun lore is correct, they've got approximately 6 months until their own town goes over the falls. Making it rain on a rock activates the dungeon, and it's pretty. It is, but it's long, and puzzle solving in Golden Sun is really manipulative. It makes you feel like you're doing tricky and interesting things when you're really just solving a series of exceptionally easy puzzles, so it makes you think you're smarter and more competent than you actually are. Combine that with the simplistic, multiple effective avenues for combat, and you have a long, dragged out, but really easy game. Again, why do people like this game? So the synergy we get from this dungeon lets us suck up water, but not too much water and not some water. It's kind of arbitrary, honestly. At least it isn't granted by an inventory slot-consuming synergy rock. Fittingly, it's called Parch, because the next section's drier than the Gobi Desert, or the Antarctica dry valleys. Sailing to Ice Place number 2, still remarkably cold in flat Earthland. We can miss a Jinn in the wild and probably miss it forever if we don't go out of our way to look for something we wouldn't know is there without a walkthrough. Incidentally, you can only do this dungeon with Parch, which I hope you didn't sail here before. Aqua Rock, walk all the way to the tower, do nothing, walk back and sail around again. Directionlessness is, of course, a very fun gameplay idea. Incidentally, this dungeon is a very fun and engaging series of innovative puzzles. Also, I was kidding, it's a maze. There's another trident piece here, but hidden in an ice chunk, we can only explode by using a new synergy found at the top of the tower, granted by a synergy rock! Jesus, you sail more in this game than the frickin' Wind Waker. Haha, what a good meme found on youtube.com in 2018. Right, Izumo, an Eastern mysticism town. Is that bad subplots I smell? Is that tropes on the air? You fucking bet, friend. Just like Ayers Rock, these idiots have synergy because they live near a magic rock. But the magic rock's made a dragon, I guess, and they have to give it a human sacrifice sometimes, and I'm just sitting here trying to possibly understand how. Okay, a dragon that can't talk was discovered to only be appeased by human sacrifices. I'm not even gonna look it up. There is no reason. Even if there is, it's fucking stupid. Not unlike my motives for being here! Which is that some girl's gonna get sacrificed so her lover went to kill the dragon, but he'll die. He'll just die, so I guess I'll go out of my way to not do what I need to do saving the world because of some girl. This dungeon in a nutshell. Climb up rock, jump scare, get statuette, go downstairs. It's a fucking So this dungeon, you may, but are not forced to move statues with that statuette to make light weaken the dragon. 4 of these exist. That's great. You can choose to do something and be rewarded for doing it, or challenged for not. Awesome. Except many of these occupy 1 room because lazy fucking design, and opting out means you've got the boss recovering more HP than you should reasonably be doing every turn. So either do the stupid dungeon or use that turn-perfect strategy you found online. It's just wasted potential. Dust in the wind. I'm gonna end up wasting all my time on this area's asinine writing, so let's make this quick. You're scared of a dragon that willingly drinks poison and is weak to sunlight? What the fuck? I can turn into sand now and find a sword that... How would you find it if you didn't know about it? What the fuck? No, Sousa, you fed it poison and stabbed it, you get the credit. What the fuck? Camelot pulls out the what is synergy question again. What the fuck? So let's stop at the Shiva line. You are 15 years old and have traveled less than anybody, and have never learned about the world except for what you've done in this game. How could you possibly know this information when Kraden himself doesn't even know what lies in the hemisphere we're currently exploring? Shut the fuck up, game! Also, after we leave, we can immediately get a reward for the doll we picked up by going back to who we just said goodbye to. This is, without question, the worst planned segment of this entire game, and there's a bonus cave maze dungeon under the village, and this whole island gets a giant fucking X. And finally, Trident piece number 3. This dungeon is just sitting up here beside an important plot town, but who knows where you went first. I hope to God it wasn't here. You need to turn into sand to do it because roadblock exploration is hella lit, my dudes. And I'm not gonna critique it. I'm not, because I'll be saying everything I've said for every maze dungeon and Ayers Rock. For reference, this is the number 2 worst dungeon in the game, and I hope you play these games. I hope you play and have a really great time, and then get here. I want to see you suffer. I probably gotta find a blacksmith to forge all these pieces together. Sunshine is probably the only guy who can do it, right? Grow a brain, you fucking dumbass. No, obviously we need to go to Champa and chase Briggs inside because he got out of jail recently. Can we get a flashback on that? Grow a brain, you fucking dumbass. How'd you figure that shit out, Kraden? Forging the Trident won't be easy. We need to get a grandma standing in front of her quivering pussy of a grandson to do it, and she put a giant salamander in the way. Also, what the fuck is this? Life got you down? Just slap a motherfucking fire lizard at it. Problem solved. She's right, you know. And now she will make us a trident because I don't know, and we knew she could do this because I don't know, and no, it doesn't make any sense as usual. But the plot, God help us, finally arrives. And it's okay. The first hint of plot this game has really had, like 10 to 15 hours in. Alex, Karst, and her friend Agatio roll up looking for trouble. Alex's arrogance finally becomes a character trait, and he actually looks evil, like he has plans. And his allies are disposable. Meanwhile, the S&M replacements manage to squeeze in a threat to hurry up with the lighthouses, which normally I'd say, hey, we're on the same side, but this party has indeed shown themselves incapable of focusing on important tasks. Good work. And it's good because it imposes legitimate tension. Every other goal so far is ephemeral, intangible, but now we're gonna get beat up. Fucking awesome. So Isaac and his crew left to stop us at the end of the game, but also to go to Lemuria and get life juice for Babby. I'd love to see Isaac's reaction to Babby dying off screen. Guess what doesn't factor into the story ever again, even after meeting Isaac. Also, Sheba's weirdly against it, even though he captured her from her only father figure, which, as an orphan, would probably give her a certain enmity to the guy. But hey, her character's written like absolute shit anyway. You have no idea how many vague-ass non-answers Kraden drops in this game. Just talk! Oh wait! You can't because this is Golden Sun and you don't have the answers. The script is the length of a book. How about using some of them, okay, for a good reason? Okay, off to Lemuria. I hope no dangerous literal ocean deities are around to stop me. I killed him. Do you have any lines that aren't exposition? These guards are about as effective as the temple guards from the beginning, given that they say we can't come in, have a minute's worth of dialogue, then say, sure, whatever. Why even write it like this? It's like you want your writing, actually want your writing to have no credibility. Also, it's possible to get the only real consequence in the yes-no system in this game where Kraden flips his shit. People in Lemuria age really slowly, and apparently it has no disease. This is why there's a graveyard and Pierre's mother got ill and died off screen. If I had all the time in the world, I'd go through every line of stupidity, but I just don't have that time. Suffice it to say that Lemuria is currently at the lowest tier for sensible writing in the game. Dude, it's the legendary thief Lumpa who founded Vault from the first game. Casually dropping major plot points unexpectedly, very tasteful. So, when and how did this kidnapping take place, and did S&M actually plan to capture the parents of these specific kids so that 3 fucking years later, they come back to Vale to force them into being hostages so they could take over the quest S&M were on if they died? Do you realize how fucking asinine and contrived that sounds? And nobody communicated this to Isaac last game. Or like, how come there's no urgency over this? Jenna literally, last video, said she wanted to visit stupid cities from the last game before her own parents. What the fuck? Anyway, the point of this diversion is to, once again, give the party secondary motivations. Save the world because it's dying from a lack of alchemy, and because the king of Lemuria makes us promise to. At some point, one of these highly motivated people is gonna find a lighthouse, God willing, just not to the last half of this video. Alright, audience with the king and this stooge from the Senate. Conservato, really clever name, guys, believes that unleashing alchemy could destroy the world like the wise one, which, why does he even believe this? He's from a time, or would have records from a time when alchemy was present and Lemuria wasn't dying. Is he serious? It's okay. No, it's okay. Nobody ask any questions. He's clearly in the wrong. He doesn't even have blue hair. The king, of course, believes the opposite, that lighting lighthouses is necessary and breaking laws of the Senate is for the common good. It's like there's a theme there, but they don't push it at all. Please note that this is the first possible reason given to the player that lighting lighthouses is good. Nice fucking setup, guys. Really, really paid off when you killed S&M for no goddamn reason. Well played. And then the king has a gift and doesn't know what it is, but somehow knows exactly what it is, and it's in the form of a cider zero. All right, we're running out of time. Hit the gas. Thankfully, the Western Hemisphere is about 4 dungeons and some plot. Let's do this. In Western Mysticism Town, we get stereotyped Native Americans. Multiculturalism done badly is usually worse than fantasy Europe ad nauseum. This guy wants an item from us to advance the plot. It's the Shaman's Rod. The item from last game, you know, that was stolen from Ivan and then reclaimed and then handed over to S&M because... question mark. The payoff we get for this item existing since the first town in Golden Sun is activating a stupid event flag a whole game and a half later that lets us do a mini Colosso to get a cider tea. The day has finally come. Jupiter Lighthouse looks sick, makes use of Jupiter's synergy to traverse, has some complex puzzles, and the only downside really is that it's annoying to navigate, but hey, it's Golden Sun. It's also 3 lighthouses in one kinda, and has a ton of unique gimmicks. You even have to unseal the top to actually light the thing, so like, are you saying somebody finally had the sense to seal one of these things if they thought lighting lighthouses was bad? The fuck? Then Isaac and crew show up. Fuck's sake. The people we've come to believe are the enemy through Camelot's perspective flip aren't allowed to become enemies because Kraden says so. Just straight up kills any chance for good writing to happen because friends. So Karsten and Agatio show up and it's time for a round of really, really offensively bad writing. They want to kill Isaac because he killed S&M, right? But then Agatio name drops his hometown we don't know about and says they'll take over the world next. Nobody, and I mean nobody in Prox, where all these fire fuckwits are from, has any intention of doing anything evil ever, except Agatio for some reason. When you actually go there later to find your parents, they've already been cleared to be released and everybody is caring and kind. They wrote that to turn Agatio into a villain, because when Camelot can't make an interesting villain, they just use manipulative, out-of-context personality changes to create the illusion of villainy. Fuck off. How did you get here, and how'd you know I'm alive? Because I dove off a building last time you saw me, and shouldn't you be in a ship headed for Lemuria right now? Also, Alex is here, acts nice to you, and heals you, so you can go beat the shit out of his hirelings for no reason other than apparently Mia, who he allowed his hirelings to trap, and he was evil last time we talked to him. I have a theory that this character is suffering from a dent in the fucking skull. Anyway, one threat later, and the bad guys back off. We take the Mars star from Isaac and light the beacon. But then the bad guys betray us. They take the Mars star and try to kill us, but idiots, I'm better than you. You might notice that this entire conflict is contrived and illogical, which really reflects the whole game. Alex finally shows he's constructed predominantly of pussy and protects these idiots. I guess Camelot can't run from this anymore. It's time for the characters to discuss things, for perhaps the first time since beginning this quest. Someone help Kraden, he's gone senile! Because that was you, Kraden. You did that. Remember? You can immediately tell that this game's story was planned out during its development cycle, because if I match up two shots from both games, oh no. Except we know they're alive because Felix was told this and actually got to visit them at one point, as revealed later in the story, and Kraden was there for all of that, so fix that dent in your skull, Kraden. Then we finally tell them that the world can only be saved by lighting lighthouses, and the reaction is, but you said it'd blow up if we did that, so we get Kraden saying, yeah, maybe, I don't know, but doing nothing is worse, lol. Obvious jokes aside, we also get this gem. Isaac would never violate Vale's rules, like that time the character saying this about him convinced him to break into the Forbidden Sanctum and steal all-powerful alchemical relics for funsies. Then Hama from Llama Temple appears, reveals that she's Ivan's sister, which in no way factors into any of this, and gives our boat bird wings. The city literally has a prophecy that the next boat to stop by will get bird wings. Holy shit, this is so fucking stupid. One dungeon to go before Mars Lighthouse, and yes, it's Magma Rock. Quiz time, true or false? Go! Is Magma Rock a maze? Is Magma Rock a cave? Is Magma Rock needlessly long? Is Magma Rock a waste of your fucking time? Take a shot for every true. That's the reward, because we're about to sit through the end of Golden Sun. Well, this is it. This is the town that Saturos, Minardi, Karst, and Agatio are from. It's dying from decreasing temperatures, but if Saturos and Minardi went there first instead of fucking around with Isaac and crew, they could have saved their town without dying like idiots half a world away. Our parents should be here, but apparently left. I smell a Golden Sun plot twist. And before this, I don't want to hear any excuses in the comments. I don't care if it's not supposed to be a world-class story, because it's a JRPG and that's what's carrying it. And I know for a fact that anyone watching this could write a better plot with some basic instruction. The end of the game does not include character development, as usual. No real payoff comes from all the people and places we visited. Despite having two ideologically different parties, there is no betrayal or conflict, so the clear opportunity for alternate endings is ignored. In fact, the game could have been somewhat saved by any other ending, but this is the one we get. Mars Lighthouse is a fair step down from Jupiter because instead of showing off new mechanics and gimmicks, you instead repeat almost every kind of puzzle found in the game thus far. No, I'm not joking. They even take a healthy, generous portion from the last game, including, for the love of God and all that is holy, maze sections. Final maze count. All. Why are mazes bad, KBash? Repeatedly and artificially increasing the time spent walking in dungeons and triggering random battles is inherently antagonistic design. There's Dargons in the ice. Apply the laser, Dargons. Oh, it was Karst and Agatio. It appears the main villains have died halfway through the dungeon. What would be the most inappropriate thing to find in this dungeon, considering that the entire adventure is almost over? A Signer T! One character's inventory is 15 slots. This entire game you're fighting for inventory space with half each character's inventory consumed by equipment alone, and more from extra equipment and miscellaneous items. The rest gets sucked up by all these stupid fucking gimmick rocks. Can I get a key items tab? None of these rocks are restricted to specific adepts, so what does it matter? Look at what happened at Jupiter Lighthouse when I got my reward for beating Karsten Agatio. Are you fucking kidding, bro? Increase the inventory slots! Well, well, if it isn't the wise one. A literal sentient rock found in the first dungeon in the game and not seen until the end of the second. Talk about a setup! He tries to stop us, which triggers some discussion about what the wise one really is, which nobody knows. Not even the design team, but Isaac and Ivan, who've traveled together for 2 whole games, have never discussed how Mount Aleph erupted and how Isaac is from there, apparently. Except for that part where Ivan mind-read Isaac in the first game. Oh, check your continuity, dipshits! The wise one asks why we're betraying him. Well, Isaac and Garrett anyway, so we say, cause Prox will be destroyed, and he says, no, they did a sin and must pay. But he never explains what they did in the first place. We tell him the world will die, and we have to light the beacons, to which he replies, mankind might do that anyway if it's unleashed. How the fuck is that a response? The wise one is wise enough to know he has no point, so changes the conversation to Alex, who's apparently climbing Mount Aleph off screen to acquire the Golden Sun. Holy shit, they said the fucking name! Which is apparently a confluence of alchemy that appears over Mount Aleph when all the beacons are lit. Talk about relevant titles that are definitely the central conflict of this plot. So, as a player, you should have no clue what the wise one wants. He was barely introduced last game, served no purpose till the end of this game, and has a completely incoherent moral structure. One man can't be powerful, but thousands can die. If he's not evil, then what the fuck is he? Alex getting propped up as a major antagonist at the end is an insult to the player's intelligence, as he's done nothing to actually qualify as a villain and barely factors into the events of the plot. Here's a list of things he wouldn't affect. In short, the main villain is less important than fucking Trident. The wise one also says he can't interfere in the affairs of men, then deliberately pushes Felix back, like twice he does this, and then summons a 3-headed Dargon to kill them. And this is it, players. The final battle, what you bought 2 games to witness, the culmination of the development and struggles of 8 characters in a bright and semi-developed world. A dragon conjured out of thin air in 5 fucking seconds by a giant gray boil. The game wants you to blindly accept at this point that the wise one saw the party coming, warped the parents away somewhere, and fused them together into a powerful dragon. Also, that the dragon would ultimately be enough to stop the lighting of the lighthouse, which, like, you could have got the Mars Star in pretty easily at any point in this battle. The thing's pretty clumsy. The mental leaps and bounds required to make this story coherent are somehow very reasonable given the scores this game received by a gaggle of functionally illiterate people. Not to mention, 4 of these idiots killed a dragon before. Do you seriously believe, wise one, if that is your real name, that 8 accomplished fighters couldn't kill a 3-pack of parents in scale Persona format? Are you fucking brain dead? No, they're dying and everyone's synergy's tapped. Quick, get the 3 waters of life I have in my inventory because you never fucking die in this game. Alright, whatever, skip to the good part. People from Emil talk to us telepathically because they have to give us exposition about how the wise one told people near lighthouses to evacuate in their dreams. So he warned you to go to a lighthouse so you could tell people to get away from the lighthouse, and he told you to help us after he tried to kill us and didn't help us himself because he was too busy trying to kill us. What the fuck? And that idiot Hammer, whose name has changed spelling since last game, defends the wise one's actions because one's actions do not always reveal one's true intentions. This is the problem with the Golden Sun fan base. People lump accolades and praise on this game like, because it came out early in the GBA's life cycle, as a long JRPG, it should be treated like some sacred cow in its library. Camelot creates this ridiculous, completely incoherent plot. This absolute fucking mess that is both contradictory and fruitless. And the community, who adore this game, who make fan projects and who write the wiki articles for a company that can't even write a payoff scene at the end of their 2-part epic. They twist and contort this absurdity using misinformation and justifications into something they believe is coherent. Fuck Golden Sun. Fuck Golden Sun.
the fuck, Golden Sun?
And they have no idea what their game is about. They just admit that openly. $80 of storytelling. Alex climbs the mountain, catches some rays, and thinks he's a god, and the wise one gives him a big old... Vale's destroyed, but at least everyone's together again. The end. I hope this is a bit of an anti-climax, so it kind of fits in with the idea of Golden Sun as a game. By the end of the game, most of the loose ends are still loose. We never fought the main villain of the series. He was, in large quotation marks, killed off screen. We have no idea if unleashing alchemy was good or bad. No one seems to know. Sheba still doesn't know where she came from. Isaac and the others failed to help Babby. He's just dead. Dora, for all we know, is still sick. We don't know anything about the Wise One. The Stone of Sages that was mentioned at the start of the first game has no payoff. It doesn't even have a physical form. We don't even know what the Stone of Sages is. The Golden Sun is not exactly explained as a concept because we still don't know what it does or what it signifies. It's kind of hinted at that it grants power. How the characters would know this, no one really knows. Alex's motives are unclear. If he wants to be powerful, okay, why though? He's already powerful. What's he gaining? What is he trying to do in the world, right? Every villain who wants that kind of power should be trying to unleash something, do something. None of the characters have actually experienced development or growth, period. There is not one you can point me to who has changed significantly since the start of the game. And lastly, the greatest mystery left unanswered is, how did IGN give this game a 90? Play your games, read your dialogue, stop hunking on Bobos, peace out. Alright, this message is here for the long-time watchers. Thank you so fucking much for watching all 4 of these videos. If you have, if you haven't, I don't care. You watched this one, good enough for me. You people are the vanguard of the operation. Thank you.